Detroit Alley Cat. I'm so happy to be back. I hope that everything works good because I haven't been able to set this little system up in a while. And yeah, I really wanted to. So today is True Crime Tuesday, and I have a very special case that I wanted to bring to you guys because it's very important that we talk about this, and it's something that's really near and dear to my heart. So before we get going, I would like to do something that I always do when there is a lost spirit or soul. Today we're going to be talking about the murdered and missing Indigenous women. And this is something that's really important. And I wanted to just go over some of the statistics and facts so you can understand how serious this is and how I feel like there's not a lot of coverage on this. Homicide is the third leading cause for Native Americans 10 to 24 years old. Violence on Native American reservations are 10 times the national average. In 2017, the National Crimes Information Center reported 322,865 missing women. 10,642 of them were missing Native Americans. 8,177 are missing Native American children. 5,172 are missing Native American women and children. The Department of Justice only logged in 116 cases in their database. Seattle, Washington has the highest open cases in the city of missing Native women and or girls. Washington State has the second most open missing Native American women cases with NAMUS. Washington State creates 2 tribal liaisons to work with Washington State's 29 tribes and urban Indian organizations. These liaisons are directed to come up with protocols when police take missing person reports. It's such a very serious epidemic, and it seems to be one of the most overlooked epidemics of all times. I constantly watch the news just to see if anything will make national headlines about this, and nothing. It's quiet. I have watched protests and protests over different races, different religions. I've not seen anything about the Indigenous people of America on our national headlines ever. So I've taken it to be my personal responsibility, even though I am not Indigenous, to stand up for this situation because I feel like it just needs to be done. And even though I might have 10 subscribers, at least those 10 subscribers will hear and understand this situation. So my name is Detroit Alley Cat. If this is your first time to my channel, I talk about true crime, I talk about horror, I talk about all kinds of things. My most important thing that I like to talk about is true crime, and it's because I like to bring information to the public about things that aren't really talked about a lot. And today we're going to be talking about a 14-year-old girl named Henny Scott. So Henny Scott was part of the Cheyanne tribe in Montana, and she was very energetic. She had quite a spirit to her. She loved athletics. She was a basketball player, and she also loved music. She told her mom that she was always grooving to the music that she listened to, and that her mother listened to old people music, and she needed to get with the times. Henny was very, very beautiful. She was a stunning little girl. and she really wanted to become a doctor. And every time she got a chance, she would talk to EMS people and flip through their manuals and pick up as much as she could. She had lots of friends. She was a very popular little girl, and her smile was very infectious. She was loved by all. On December 7th, Henny called her mother and asked if she could go to a basketball that day. And her mother said, "No, you are grounded. You need to come home right now, and you cannot go to the basketball game." Henny replied to her mother and said, "Okay, Mom, I'll be home in a little bit." Her mother never realized these would be the last words that she would ever hear Henny Scott say. Henny Scott was a freshman at Lame Deer High School. That's something that is important. And it was reported that the next day, on December 8th, people saw Henny Scott walking around, and she was wearing clothes that were not warm enough for the area. She lived in Montana, and right around that time it can be very cold and snowy, and they said that the outfit she was wearing just was not appropriate. There are also reports of seeing Henny Scott on December 13th. And when those reports of Henny Scott came in saying that they saw her on December 13th, they said that she looked injured, kind of walking a little bit funny, but for some reason nobody called in, nobody told her mother where she was. It was something that came out after the fact. Henny's mother, her name is Paula Castro Stops. Her father is Nathan Stops. They immediately called the police. The BIA got involved, which is the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they told them that they needed to go ahead and check with all of Henny's friends and see if she was staying with any of them and to look around. So there was no Amber Alert. There was no missing persons put out. There was nothing. It was just basically on the parents to go and look for this child. And that's really surprising because we are talking about a 14-year-old girl. This is a little girl, and I don't understand why there was no Amber Alert put out, but there wasn't. So around December 21st, they decided that they were going to put in the missing person alert and the Amber Alert. They started looking. Everybody started searching the area. On December 28th, searchers actually found Henny Scott's body, and she was, I believe, 200 feet away from the place that she was last seen at. She was covered in snow, and she was not wearing appropriate clothing. They said that she had alcohol in her system, and the coroners went ahead and ruled that the reason that she died was because of hypothermia. Here's something to make mention to, is that Henny's mother, Paula Castro, she said that she saw her daughter's body, and she said that she saw that her daughter had a broken nose and that she had bruises, and that she did not believe that Henny died of hypothermia and that something had happened to her, and she believed that there was foul play. And I feel like that is probably true, because I don't understand how a 14-year-old girl could have went missing and how they couldn't have tracked down where she was, and nobody knows what happened to her. And why would somebody who lived in Montana, who is obviously used to the cold, go out walking around in the cold with like not the appropriate clothes on? And another thing is, how did she get the liquor? How did she get the liquor? Who provided the liquor? Now, I don't live on reservations. I've never been on a reservation. I don't know how it works. I don't know if you have to be a certain age. I'm unsure of it, but how a 14-year-old got liquor is something that should be looked into. But unfortunately, the case was closed and they had decided that there was going to be no federal charges put against anyone because it was deemed an accident and that, she had gotten drunk and died of hypothermia. And I have a really hard time believing this. I do. I find it very difficult to believe that a 14-year-old girl decided one day that she was going to run away from home, not talk to her parents, go find some place to live or stay, find liquor, and then wander around with no clothes on, no coat on, and just fall down, fall asleep, and freeze to death. Also, like, why were there bruises on her face? Why did she have a broken nose? Why does she have bumps on her face? I don't believe that her mother would make this up. And another thing that really bothers me about this case is that when Henny Scott went missing, like, her parents came to the police, they came to the reservation police, and they told them, like, hey, my daughter is missing. And they waited 2 weeks before they put out an Amber Alert, or a missing persons report. And I don't understand why that was done that way, especially knowing that there's this epidemic, and I'm sure the reservation police are aware that there is a problem with missing Indigenous women and children going on. It's like a huge problem, and they should have immediately acted on this, especially just the way the whole setup was. And I just wanted to do a video on this because I don't know what to say about it, but I feel like this story has more to it. I looked up a bunch of stuff and this is all I got. I found the family. I didn't really want to put too much personal stuff about the family because they've already lost a 14-year-old girl. And I really feel that there should be like better communication with the reservation police, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the FBI, the local police. I feel like they should all be working together to like come together and figure out what they can do to make this epidemic like end. And I just yeah, so this is just one story in the thousands and thousands and thousands the murdered and missing Indigenous women of this country. And I believe that Henny Scott should be remembered because she was a very beautiful little girl and her whole life was taken from her. And I do not believe that she died of hypothermia. And I thought it was important that we do a video on her. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you would like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Tell me if you've heard of cases like this. If any of our family sees this, I hope you know that I mean no disrespect. I just want to bring awareness to cases like this because they're very tragic and they need to be out there. So yeah, okay guys, thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. As always, stay spooky and stay safe. Bye.